You think you lack discipline, but what if it's not your willpower? It's your habits quietly destroying you every single day. Most people don't fail loudly, they fail silently. You don't lose discipline in one dramatic moment. You don't wake up one day and suddenly become weak. It happens slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. Discipline doesn't collapse because of one failure. It erodes because of small habits you repeat every single day. Habits that feel harmless, habits you justify, habits you defend. Most people think they lack willpower, but willpower is rarely the problem. The real problem is silent self-sabotage, patterns that chip away at your focus, your confidence, your self-trust, until you start believing you're the problem. Habit number 1, constant dopamine flooding. The moment you wake up, you grab your phone. Before your brain has time to stabilize, you flood it with stimulation, bright lights, fast videos, endless scrolling, notifications, comparisons. Your brain spikes with dopamine without effort. And when cheap dopamine becomes your morning ritual, hard work feels heavier than it should. Discipline requires mental clarity, but overstimulation creates mental fog. You don't feel lazy, you feel drained before you even begin. Habit number 2, negotiating with yourself. You say, I'll start tomorrow, I'll do it later, I'll skip just today. It sounds harmless, but every time you break a promise to yourself, you damage internal authority. Discipline is built on self-respect, and self-respect is built when your actions match your words. When you constantly renegotiate commitments, you train your brain not to take you seriously. Habit number 3, comfort addiction. Choosing what feels good now over what builds strength later. Sitting instead of moving, watching instead of creating, planning instead of executing. Comfort is not evil, but repeated comfort weakens your tolerance for discomfort, and discomfort is the price of growth. If you run from friction, you run from progress. Discipline grows when you voluntarily choose effort. Habit number 4, lack of structure. You say you want freedom, but unlimited freedom without structure turns into distraction. When your day has no defined blocks, no clear priorities, your mind drifts from one impulse to the next. Discipline thrives inside boundaries. It needs clear starting points, clear stopping points, clear direction. Without structure, your energy leaks into randomness. Habit number 5, multitasking illusion. You think doing multiple things at once makes you efficient, but in reality, every time you switch tasks, your brain pays a cost. Focus resets, momentum breaks, depth disappears. Discipline is not about doing many things, it is about doing one thing fully. A scattered mind cannot build strong habits. Habit number 6, negative self-labeling. The words you repeat shape your identity. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm lazy, I have no discipline, I can't focus, your brain begins to accept it as truth. Identity drives behavior. When you see yourself as undisciplined, you subconsciously act in alignment with that belief. Discipline begins when you change the narrative, when you start saying, I am becoming consistent, I keep promises, I act even when I don't feel like it. Habit number 7, energy abuse. You sleep at random hours, you overload caffeine, you ignore your body. You expect peak performance from an exhausted system. Discipline becomes extremely difficult when your energy is unstable. Your brain needs recovery. Your body needs rhythm. When your biological foundation is chaotic, consistency feels impossible, not because you lack character, but because your system is mismanaged. Habit number 8, waiting for motivation. You tell yourself, I'll start when I feel ready, when I feel inspired, when I feel different. But motivation is unreliable. It rises and falls based on mood, environment, and energy. Discipline is built in the absence of motivation. It grows when you act without emotional permission. The strongest habits are formed on days you don't feel like it. None of these habits look dramatic. That's why they're dangerous. They operate quietly, shaping your identity, shaping your confidence, shaping your future. Every small compromise whispers to your brain, "This is who you are." And over time, that whisper becomes belief. Discipline is not about becoming extreme. It is about eliminating what weakens you. It is about reducing self-betrayal. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, you rebuild internal trust. And internal trust is the foundation of consistency. You don't need a new personality. You need fewer silent leaks. You need fewer mornings lost to scrolling, fewer broken promises, fewer comfort choices, fewer excuses disguised as logic. Start with one habit. Not 8, not everything at once, just one. Replace morning scrolling with 10 minutes of silence. Replace negotiation with immediate action. Replace passive consumption with one deliberate task. Small corrections compound, quietly, just like destruction did. The same way discipline was eroded silently, it can be rebuilt silently. One decision at a time, one action at a time, one kept promise at a time. You are not weak. You are just repeating patterns that weaken you. And the moment you stop feeding those patterns, your discipline begins to return. Not dramatically, not instantly, but steadily. And steady discipline changes everything.